Hey, this is the Angry for Angry's Sake show, and we're going to be talking about this stupid Street Fighter board game.
Wait. That's your game. Don't be mad at this one.
I don't have emotions other than angry and awkward. Hey everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name's Indigo.
And I'm Krug.
And we're going to be talking about a board game that came out on Kickstarter and was funded in less than 1 day and...
is continuing to be funded at a ridiculous rate.
Yeah.
And we don't know why.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Okay, we know why, but we don't like why.
Fight!
First of all, let's take a quick overview of the game. What is it? How do you play it? So on and so forth. It's a Street Fighter board game where you can play 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. And then there's also a 1v3 mode where one like OP boss character faces off against 3 normal characters from Street Fighter.
To think that they should fall into my hands in a single night!
There's also a free-for-all mode where you can do between 3 and 6 players, from what I understand. So it has a lot of variety in it. Let's really quickly talk about how the game works.
On your turn, you can do 3 things. The first thing that you can do is draw a card, which has got your own separate deck for the character in which you play that has different abilities on them.
The second thing you can do is move your character on the board. You can move up to the movement speed of your character, which is unique. You get a card that represents your character that'll tell you what the move speed is.
Third is fight, which is 2 actions that you get to do, which consist of draw, move, or actually hit someone. Yeah. Which confuses me because it's like, this is the fight action, but you can do the other 2 things that you've already done.
Kind of like the dash mechanic in D&D, right? Like you have a dedicated move part of your action, but you can also, or part of your turn, but you can also use your action to move more. I think that's kind of a good way of thinking about it.
Wouldn't you just call it the action? Like,
yeah.
Like, why do draw, move, fight, when in that fight section you can do more than just fight?
I have no idea.
Like, in the draw section, I can't draw or move. I can just
That's true.
draw.
No, I get where you're coming from. It's a
dumb name.
You can also take some actions on your opponent's turn, the first of which is block. You can roll 2 dice that have different icons on them. Some of them don't do anything, so you whiff, basically. Some of them give you meter charge, so that you can use special abilities down the road. And then some of them allow you to block damage. And so you can negate damage that the opponent's dealing to you.
Then there's counterattack, which is you play a card and you basically guess what the opponent's going to be doing, and if you do get it correctly, you're going to counter the move in which they do. Yeah,
so they could either be playing a strike or a throw or a ranged attack. There are a bunch of different kinds of attacks in the game, and so if yours matches theirs, you negate their attack and you get to do a special effect that's at the bottom of your card, like move them or deal some damage or something like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting mechanic. There's also some other interesting bits about the game. You'll notice on the board you see a bunch of different like boxes and trees and stuff like that, depending on the map on which you're playing. Those are actually pieces of destructible terrain. So you, yeah, right. You
can rip them apart. Like your character can get thrown into them, or like you can throw someone else into them, and the item itself disappears.
Yeah,
and
is removed from the board, and then it does damage to the person who is knocked into it, which I think is interesting. And then the terrain resets, I think every round, maybe not every turn, but I think every round. I think that's a cool concept in a board game.
I think it's an interesting concept. I still don't think it's destructible, because it's like, oh, this, like, you should just make it like whenever you hit someone in, because if it's a round, right? Oh, every time you hit someone into this tree, they take additional damage. It's not really destructible. It's not like it affects the rest of the game.
I think
like
it's
if I destroy this tree, that tree's gone. I can't use that ability to hit them in that same tree region.
Sure. I think the only reason that it like disappears and reappears is because it's not a huge board. There aren't a lot of squares. And so if it was maybe like more squares, then it wouldn't really be that big of a problem. But it needs to like reappear so that it's always there for you to use, but it needs to disappear for a bit so that you don't just pin someone against it or something. Yeah. Like maybe that's an option that you can do.
Well, and I think that the reason why there isn't that many squares is because the physical size of the figurines.
Yeah, the figurines they're called collector size figurines, which doesn't make any real sense to me. I think they're trying to get across that they're not trying to gyp you on the pieces. They want to like provide you high quality pieces and like things that are going to last, and collector's items that even if you don't play the game very often, you can display.
So basically,
that's the selling point.
They're saying that these have added value.
Yeah, as cosmetic items.
As looking nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I understand that they've kind of really pushed that. Like, these were put a lot of energy and effort into those, which I feel those would put more energy than the rest of the game.
Yeah, some of the other things about the game aren't really terribly satisfying. Like, the maps don't look very well designed. For example, I was watching them playtest one, and the map has like a bridge and a river and then like a bunch of land. But you could just like walk over all of it as though it was just normal terrain. Like, it didn't really do anything. So I didn't see the value of adding those different elements to the map. And maybe, I mean, again, it's not.
They were playtesting.
Yeah, they were playtesting it. So it might just be like, oh, it wasn't added or whatever.
Well, but that's the thing though, is like they're also unlocking additional maps the further they get on the Kickstarter. But if the only difference between map A and map B are the fact that it's colored differently, then it's like, why is it worth that $50,000 like differentiation between?
Hey, we'll get there. This whole entire project is being led by Angry Joe Show.
Wait, are you what?
Who's been developing this for the past 2 years with him and one other person. He's been doing like lead game design, sort of like high-level concept stuff. There's one other guy that he's partnered with that's doing like the deck design and like, I guess working on the mechanics. And then they're also being published through Jasco Games, who have a couple of like board game titles that they've released. I'm not entirely sure how popular their releases have been, but
they have like a UFC board game, which I've never heard of.
They have they have some licenses that are surprising, right?
I love the idea of YouTubers coming out and creating additional means to create more content, like other than their YouTube, you know, coming up with merchandise for shirts or swag, stuff like that people want. Coming up with a game, I love the idea of that too. I think that a lot of the reason why it's doing so well is, one, he's got a large subscriber base.
Yes.
And two, Street Fighter is the nostalgia, like...
Yeah, and it also has like a competitive scene still, like to this day. So there are people that are passionate about the title. I'm not really super against like Angry Joe part of it. I'm just... Like, the way he advertises it makes me, like, a little tingly. Like, it gives me the bad feeling. There are 3 pledge tiers. The first is $80, which seems like kind of reasonable. Maybe a little bit of a premium price, but maybe he could talk his way out of that by saying the miniatures are really good and you're paying for the quality and blah, blah, blah.
But with that $80, you're getting all of the unlocks, right?
No. With that $80, and this is, like, the kicker part, you don't get any of the milestone unlocks.
So you just
get the base game, which is kind of shitty. The next tier, though, you do get the milestones.
Yeah, but is it significantly higher, or is it like $85?
It's $140.
Okay, so just with those two, I'm assuming there's higher tiers. With those two, it makes me think that their cost to making this game is very high, probably due to licensing for Street Fighter, and 2, the high-quality collectible figurines. Both of those are probably very, very expensive to make.
And then just because everything's so big, the packaging's probably enormous.
Yeah. So
shipping, it's probably a pain.
I'm guessing that their profit margin on that 80 is probably not very high, because the whole idea of the stretch goal system is that everyone that's involved at a certain point, like the $1 thank you you're doing, you know, like I really like what you're doing, but I can't put forward. I understand not giving them stretch goals,
right?
But like I'm investing in the product, right? And I'm helping you get closer to these stretch goals, but I'm not going to then get those stretch goals.
Right.
Is kind of the part where I'm like, okay.
Well, and here's the thing. It might have been a good strategy, despite all of what you just said, because not very many people have bought into the $80 option, but over 2,000 people have bought into the $140 option, and another 2,200 people have bought into the $280 option, which just gets you more content. The base game is included in all 3, like you can play it in all 3, but some people have chosen to spend $280 on this game that they have yet to play.
And they're pushing for 10,000 sales?
Yeah, so in one of the videos, he said that the team's goal is to sell 10,000 copies of the game. They've sold less than 5,000 copies right now and almost have $1 million. So
I wonder.
What?
I wonder if there's like a box minimum.
You think? I don't think they'd set the goal at the box minimum. I think they want to make a specific return for a specific reason. And actually, a lot of the times they've been talking about the game, they've been saying, if we do well, we're going to get other licenses. Like, we want to do this so we can keep getting licenses.
If he gets
$2 million out of it, like rough number based on what they have now versus what they want, maybe that's the number they need to hit in order to get like a Star Wars license or like a Halo license or something. I don't know. Those are just random guesses.
Angry Joe is going to be the EA of board games. All right, everyone, head down to the comments and let us know, is this a Kickstarter that you want to support? Are you a board game enthusiast? Are you a Street Fighter enthusiast and think that this is just garbage on both fronts? I don't know.
Are you rich?
Are you rich? You got that $280 to spend? While you guys are down there, go over and hit the subscribe button so you can unlock the bell icon so you can get notifications for all of our content. If you want to get a hold of either of us, you can hit us up on Twitter. I am Indigo, and I am at IndigoQT.
I'm Krug. You can get me at KrugQT on Twitter. You can also reach both of us at _QueueTimes. We've been GameGorgon. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Tuesdays are hard.
Yeah.